Hi, this is Pastor Jim Driscoll of Christ Lutheran Church with the NCTV 45 thought for the day. Want to dive further into Elaine Eklund's book, Elaine Eklund et al., the book they wrote, Religion, a Changing Workplace. I researched. Many people feel a calling to their particular workplace niche, that God suited them to fill that place, to do that job. I think that is certainly commendable. Don't think it's just those who fill those lofty positions in our culture. Many people feel a sense of longing to some humble place in life, but one that is still important. There are many people in my life that aren't out there winning Pulitzer Prizes, but they sure do make it so that I get through life. I don't know what I would do without them backing me and supporting me. Eklund quotes Mitchell Newbert and Katie Halbus-Laban that people's calling is often perceived as a summons from God to approach work with a sense of purpose and a pursuit of excellence in work practices. Some organizational psychologists think the idea of calling can be viewed more broadly as a sense of higher purpose in work, and many workers do not necessarily perceive calling as having divine origins. I'm sure most people don't go through life without this higher calling. They just schlep through life, have to, and don't even try to perceive any higher good. Hey, the young lady at Dairy Queen may not see much in what she does, but if I could have a few minutes with those people, I would happily tell them that they make my life a lot happier and pleasant for what they do. Those two cheese dogs and that cheesecake blizzard. Yes. Thank you. And I am very grateful that they are there serving in the way they do. I'm Jim Driscoll, the pastor of Christ Lutheran Church with 1302 East Washington Street, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Check us out on the web. It's christlutheran-newcastle.org. Questions, comments, contact me on the website. For a transcript of today's thought, go to revjamesdriscollmdiv.com. Sunday worship is at 10:30 a.m. All are welcome. With the NCTV 45 thought for the day, God bless your day. Hi, it's Pastor Jim Driscoll, Christ Lutheran Church with the NCTV 45 thought for the day. We have been talking about living your faith in the workplace, book by Elaine Eklund et al., Religion and a Changing Workplace, and how we can live our life as Christians in that workplace. We are a Christian 24/7, 365 days. We don't just say, hey, Jesus on Sunday morning and then dive back into the world on Monday morning. If you aren't going to live your life in Jesus and witness to others about Jesus in your life, sorry, you're not a Christian. For those closet Christians out there, I would carefully consider what's really going on in your life. I'm not asking people to hold rallies for Jesus in the middle of their workplace, but think about how you can be more visible for Jesus instead of just trying to blend in. It's not a popularity contest. This is real life. The person you witness to might be on the precipice of hell. We were talking about how many people feel that God is calling them into their field of vocation. In her book, Elaine Eklund et al., Religion in a Changing Workplace, quotes business scholars Mitchell Newbert and Katie Halbus-Laban, define it as a summons from God to approach work with a sense of purpose and a pursuit of excellence in work practices. Isn't that what we should be doing? that this is the cut to the chase right here. Treat our work as if it was assigned to us by God, that we report to God on how we work. Seems to me all of a sudden we would treat our work seriously, maybe reverently. It is our Christian faith at work in our work. I'm Jim Driscoll, the pastor of Christ Lutheran Church, 1302 East Washington Street, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Check us out on the web, Christ Lutheran Newcastle Newcastle. .org. Questions, comments, contact me on the website. For a transcript of today's thought, go to Rev. James Driscoll, mdiv.com. Sunday worship is at 10:30 a.m. All are welcome. With the NCTV 45 thought for the day, God bless your day. Hi, this is Pastor Jim Driscoll of Christ Lutheran Church with the NCTV 45 thought for the day. We've been talking about how we live our life in Christ in the workplace. How do we live our life and all the things that we do in our life? Is Jesus just Sunday morning, the rest of the week living in the world? At some point, you're going to have to stand in front of Jesus and justify why he is only a part-time activity in your life. But anyway, more specifically, do we see what we do as being called by Jesus to do that work versus, well, this is just where I happen to end up to work? I submit where you work is no accident. Jesus put you there for a specific purpose. Referring to Elaine Eklund and fellow writers in their book, Religion in a Changing Workplace, she writes, some organizational psychologists think the idea of calling can be viewed more broadly as a sense of higher purpose in work, and my workers do not necessarily perceive calling as divine origins. In this vein, psychologists Brian Dick and Ryan Duffy define calling as a transcendent summons experienced as originating beyond the self to approach a particular role in life in a manner oriented toward demonstrating or deriving a sense of purpose or meaningfulness that holds other oriented values and goals as primary sources of motivation. Is this work meaningful? Is what I do important and something I should be proud of? When we put it in terms of God put me here to do a job, that he will be proud of me when I do that job to the best of my ability and to his glory. I'm Jim Driscoll, pastor of Christ Lutheran Church, 1302 East Washington Street, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Check us out on the web. It's christlutheran-newcastle.org. Questions, comments, contact me on the website. For a transcript of today's thought, go to revjamesdriscollmdiv.com. Sunday worship is at 10:30 a.m. All are welcome. With the NCTV 45 thought for the day, God bless your day. Hi, it's Pastor Jim Driscoll of Christ Lutheran Church with the NCTV 45 thought for the day. We are talking about how we live our life in the place where we go to make a living, provide for our family, the place where we do have to perform or won't be there anymore. And then how do we pay the rent for groceries, car payment? Well, you and I both know the drill. But how does this manifest in the way we conduct ourselves in the workplace if we are truly there serving God and working for Him as much as for our family and the person who signs our paychecks? According to Elaine Eklund and fellow writers in their book, Religion and a Changing Workplace, research finds that those who feel called to their work have higher intrinsic motivation at work, often hold themselves to a higher standard with respect to their attitude and performance. In our national survey, again, their quote, we asked workers how much they agreed with the statement, even if it does not benefit me, I always act with the highest integrity at work. We expect that most people will agree with such a statement in a survey, given it is socially desirable to do so. And that is indeed what we found. Yet those who are feel called to do to their work are more likely than those who do not feel called to agree that they always act with integrity. It's 84% to 73%. So it should be a given if we think we are there by God's will, that He is certainly checking on us, that we will perform with more integrity. People who think it's just the place they go to make money, gotta believe not going to put a high premium on integrity because, hey, it might cut into their free time or their income or promotion opportunities. I hope that writers are right about this, that three-quarters of the population still value and practice genuine integrity. I'm Jim Driscoll, pastor of Christ Lutheran Church, 1302 East Washington Street, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Check us out on the web. It's christlutheran-newcastle.org. Questions, comments, contact me on the website. For a transcript of today's thought, go to revjamesdriscollmdiv.com. Sunday worship is at 10:30 a.m. and all are welcome with the NCTV 45 thought for the day. God bless your day. Hi, it's Pastor Jim Driscoll of Christ Lutheran Church with the NCTV 45 thought for the day. We're talking about our relationship with the place that we work in our lives as it also relates to our relationship with Jesus. We can't just be super Christian on Sunday mornings and be a closet Christian the rest of the week. We are looking at Elaine Eklund's and others' book, Religion and a Changing Workplace. She talks about someone they interviewed who seems to model how we as Christians perceive the place and people we work with in our life and how that relates to us. She writes, quote, a corrections officer in his 60s told us he's still working because he has the utmost respect for the people that I work for, the people that I work with, and I just really enjoy my job. I feel like I'm doing the job that God made me to do. He believes God gave him a special ability to, quote, work with difficult people, to have a clear head when things are going really bad, he said. And in the most stressful moments, to think and act and work clearly. And I keep working at it until this day because I'm good at it. And I believe the Lord built me to do it, and I am doing the Lord's work. Wow. Doesn't that just summarize what we've been talking about all this time? This is what I'm good at, and God gave me what I needed, and I'm doing the Lord's work. Gee, if we could all go in with that kind of attitude, Instead of the whining and fussing, even Christians will do. Wouldn't things be a whole lot better for everybody? I'm Jim Driscoll, pastor of Christ Lutheran Church, 1302 East Washington Street, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Check us out on the web. It's christlutheran-newcastle.org. Questions, comments, contact me on the website. For a transcript of today's thought, go to RevJamesDriscollMDiv.com. Sunday worship is at 10:30 a.m. All are welcome. With the NCTV 45 thought for the day, God bless your day.